What child is this who laid to rest on Mary's lap, is sleeping, whom angels greet with anthems sweet, while shepherds watch are keeping? This is Christ the King, whom shepherds guard and angels sing. Haste, haste to bring him love, the babe, the Son of Mary.
Okay, hello. My name is Titikshava Karunika Das, and we are in Sridham Mayapur. I've been asked to talk a little bit about how I came to Krishna Consciousness. So I was born 1954, Santa Monica, California. And at the age of 19, I left my house, my family, and was traveling with my backpack and my guitar. And somehow or another, I ended up in Berkeley, California. So I used to see the devotees on Sproul Plaza in UC Berkeley, and I was always wondering, how come these people are so happy? I would see them dancing and chanting. Of course, it was foreign, so I didn't really take too much notice. But I used to play my acoustic guitar on the steps of the Sproul Plaza. That's how I made my living in between bands, which fell apart quite frequently. So anyway, I would play on the steps, and then the devotees would come up with the Hari Nam party, and they would start chanting. And then any crowd that I had on the steps, it would be dispersed. And the people that would normally throw some money in my box, they would just walk away without giving anything. So that kind of bothered me. So then I thought, okay, well let's try something here. So when the devotees came and I was playing, then I kind of like joined in with them and started singing and playing my guitar with the kirtan. So the devotees kind of liked that, and they appreciated that, so they could understand that I was trying to make some money. So they didn't stay too long, and the people also enjoyed it. So they clapped, and then the devotees went on, and then they still put some money in the box. So that seemed to be a win-win situation. So that was kind of like my first, bumps with the devotees in Berkeley. But previous to that, before I came to Berkeley, I went to a George Harrison concert. That was in 1974, and that was in Atlanta, Georgia. So actually my original contact with the devotees was through George Harrison and, of course, his song, My Sweet Lord. Now this concert was with Billy Preston and Ravi Shankar. And Billy Preston, of course, is also a notable personality who does devotional music. He had a hit song called That's the Way God Planned It. And I remember that song at the concert. It was very, very good. And Ravi Shankar was also excellent. But the best part of the show for me was when George Harrison was asking everybody to chant along with him when he did the song My Sweet Lord. So I thought, yeah, okay, I'm a singer, I'll sing along with you. And then, so I chanted Hare Krishna with him. And then we came out of the concert, and there was some devotees there. There was a devotee there, and he was handing out some brochures. So he said, did you like the show? And I said, yeah, of course, it was great. So he said, would you like to see the 9 o'clock show? There was a 7 o'clock show and a 9 o'clock show. So I'd been to see the 7 o'clock show. So he said, you want to see the 9? I said, yeah, sure. He says, well, I have some tickets. I thought, well, okay, what's the catch here, So he said, well, you just pass out some of these pamphlets, and you come back and I'll give you a free ticket. You go back and see George Harrison again. So I thought, okay, right. So anyway, I took the flyers and I was passing them out. And some guy goes, what are you doing? I go, I'm passing out these flyers for the Haris. said he'd give me a free ticket if I passed out all the flyers. He says, yeah, just take that pile of tickets and throw them in the dumpster and then go back and get your free ticket. So I thought, well, that's not cool, you know. I told him I'd pass them out, so, you know, what's a big deal? I'll pass them out. So I passed out the brochures and I went back. He said, you passed them out? Yeah, I passed them out. And, oh, okay, very good. Here. So he handed me a sweet ball. It was simply wonderful. I didn't know what it was at the time, but popped that in my mouth. And, oh, very nice. So he said, okay, here's your ticket. So I went back in and chanted Hare Krishna again with George Harrison, saw the whole show again. And it was, you know, a very nice experience. Of course, I had no inclination towards spiritual life at that point. Wasn't really interested or seeking or, you know, whatever. It was just another, you know, nice event. But little did I know that, you know, that seed of bhakti had been planted. If you think about it, what happened there? I chanted Hare Krishna. I did some service. I you walk by a mosque, you walk by a church, you walk by a bookstore, you know, just another place, right? You know, that's where the Haris live. Those guys are into, you know, this and that and you know, no sex and no drugs. And it's like, okay, well, it's, you know, it's not for me, right? So anyway, I'd never thought much of it. But we turned the corner and he looks out the window of his micro van. He had a VW micro van. And he goes, there's a Hare Krishna temple there. And I just go, yeah, well, you know, so what? He goes, but they got food in there. He knew about Prasadam. So anyway, we drive by and there's some brahmacharis walking down the street. He rolls down the window. He goes, hey, you know, we just came all the way from Arizona. We're hungry. You guys got anything to eat? And I'm just going, be cool, man. This is, you know, he says, shut up, man. And the brahmacharis are nice. They go, well, you know, we just served out lunch. We put everything away. Can you come back tomorrow? He says, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. I'm going to San Francisco. I'm just going, be cool, man. He goes, shut up, man. So the it was like the brahmacharis go, well, okay, let's see what we can do for you. We'll go to the cool, we'll bring something back. You come back in about 15, 20 minutes, we'll have something for you. He goes, okay, we're going to be right back. The first thing I see, it was Bahudak. You know, I don't know if you know Bahudak, but anyway, he's a big body and he sings with a deep Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So I'd never seen this before. I'd never seen a bhajan. You know, I'd seen George Harrison, but never seen the harmonium stuff. So Bahudak was chanting, you know, Hare Krishna with his harmonium, and there was a guy playing mridanga. And then there was this hippie kid, you know, standing there with no shirt and blue jeans and long hair and just kind of like, you know, this type of stuff, you know, chanting along with the bhajan. But then they started serving out the food. And when that happened, it was like a miracle because the line went from 50 people to 200 people. Like, you know, boom, within 2 minutes. It was one of those things. Where did all these people come from, you know? So I was thinking, wow, this is amazing. So I thought, okay, well, let's let the line go down a little bit here. So anyway, Bahudak's still chanting away. This guy's still dancing. And people are starting to get up and go back for seconds now, you know. And there's still quite a big line. So I thought to myself, okay, well, I better get up and get in line. Otherwise, I'm going to miss the whole thing. So I got up, got in line. And the thing is that I noticed that the food was all yellow. Everything was yellow. The rice was yellow. These little breads were yellow. The corn was yellow. The potatoes were yellow. The drink was yellow. I was thinking, this is very interesting. These people are into yellow food. Okay. But anyway, I ate the food. It was nice. Thought, okay, great. This free meal sounds pretty good. So I started coming every day for the free meal. And then there was one nice devotee there, Brigu, who used to sit down and chat with me. And he would say, well, have you read Bhagavad Gita? And I go, I looked at that. It's all about war. I'm not into it. He says, well, you might consider it because actually, this type of war is not like the war that we think of, where they, you know, burn women and children with napalm and do all the crazy stuff like they did in Vietnam. And, you know, it's a different kind of war. People had, you know, moral qualities. And I said, yeah, but I'm not really into that stuff. He goes, well, you might just have a look. Anyway, after a few days of talking like this, he said, "I'll just take the book home and see what you think." So I said, all right. So I took the book home. And then I started reading Bhagavad Gita. And then I would come back with, so many questions. What about this? How come there's so many names? Who is this guy? What is that? And eventually I, started making my way through it. I still didn't understand a thing. And then one day I was walking by the temple and somebody says to me, "Hey, we're unloading a semi-tractor trailer full of books and we need some help. Do you think you could give us a hand?" And I thought, well, I've been getting food from these people for the last few days or whatever it is. I can help out a little bit here. So then I went and I, unloaded we had this big old truck full of books. We piled them into the temple and, so I did some service there. This Ajnana Sukriti, unknowingly. I didn't know what was going on. I'm just trying to help out a little bit. But something happened at that point when I started doing that service. Then the light bulb kind of went on and the book started to make a little bit more sense. Somehow, that's how it works, isn't it? When you do something for Krishna, you get the mercy of Krishna. To just read the books, academic scholarship, it doesn't really work. But when you serve Krishna, then Krishna turns on the light bulb. He says, okay, this guy, he really wants to know he's done something, so let me give him some mercy. So then the book started making more and more sense. And then again coming for prasadam, and they would say, you should really come to the Sunday feast, and check out the dancing and the lectures and stuff. I go, no, I'm not really into that. I got a jam session that I do every Sunday. I can't really make it. Sorry, I don't really have time. It was like that. Always kind of putting it off, coming up with some excuse. But eventually, after time, I did start coming to the Sunday feast and enjoyed it. And then one thing led to another. And then before I knew it, I was, moving into the temple. I had a choice, right? I was staying in a room where there was a student, and he was going to come back from his summer vacation. And then I would have to leave that room and then, find another place to stay. So I thought, okay, well, it's either that or just move into the temple. The devotees are saying move into the temple. You don't have to worry about rent. You get food, da-da-da-da-da. So I thought, okay, well, let's try it out and see what happens. So then I moved into the temple, and that was in 1979. So that's how I joined the Hare Krishnas. used to play at Rath Yatras in Los Angeles. I moved from Berkeley down to Los Angeles shortly after that came together. And I had a little studio right behind the Life Membership House there. It used to be Charu's studio, He used to do his recordings for his KHQN radio station in Utah. So I made a deal with him that somehow I moved into that studio and I continued my recording there. But the recordings came out nice, and I was always playing at Raw Theatras in Los Angeles and like this, and so people knew that I was a musician. So one time this one devotee named Ram Shraddha, he came up to me, he says, "TK, you got to check this out." So he showed me some video footage of the Garanga Bhajan band performing in, I think it was in Poland, and he says, you got to be a part of this. This is where it's at. So I thought, okay, it looks really neat. This is what we want, right? So I seen these big shows that they were doing in Poland and the Eastern Bloc. He got me going. So I thought, okay, well, how do I do this? He says, well, you got to talk to, Hare Krishna. So I thought, okay, right. So how do you do that? Well, you got to go to India and, talk with him. So, okay, well, I'm going to go to India. So I went to India, and I finally got to meet with Hare Krishna Swami. I'd never met him before. So anyway, he just said, okay, just go up and knock on his door. And I thought, what else can you do, right? But I came to his door, and he goes, oh, Titikshava Karunika. I said, yeah. He goes, you know me? He goes, oh, yes, I listened to your tapes. So I thought, well, that's far out. So he'd already heard my stuff. So I told him that I'd like to, be a part of the Garanga Bhajan band. And he thought, oh, okay. Let me inquire about this and think about this, and then we'll get back to you. And then I thought, okay, let's see how this goes. So, it was a little bit of a while before he got back, but finally, he talked with the other devotees, and they thought it was okay. So I bought a ticket and, went to St. Petersburg to join up with the Garanga Bhajan band. So I get to St. Petersburg, and then we have this meeting with all the musicians, and, Krishna Prema was there, and there was a lot of other devotees, Bhairavesh, Krishna Chaitra, I think, was there at that time. And we were kind of meeting and trying to figure out how to do this. I'd brought my guitar and my little, processor, and I was all ready to play. I thought, okay, being a part of the Garanga Bhajan band, this is going to be great. So Hare Krishna looks at me and goes, I heard that you know how to mix sound, that you're a sound engineer. I go, yeah. He says, I can do that. And he says, oh, well, we need a sound engineer. Can you mix the monitor mix for us? And I go, yeah, I could do that. And he says, okay, so you're on monitor mix. And then it was like, on to the next thing. And I'm just thinking to myself, I came here to play. What's going on? So after the show, my friend Sri Ram, who I'd known from Los Angeles, and who was presently, I think, the temple president in Moscow, he comes and says, TK, how come you didn't do any of your songs? You should be doing some of your songs. And I go, well, I thought I was going to do something, but Hare Krishna put me on the mix board here. He goes, well, do you want me to talk to him about it? And I thought, yeah, sure, please, that would be great. So he says, okay, I'll talk to him. So anyway, he spoke with Hare Krishna Swami, and then Hare Krishna comes up to me. He says, so Sri Ram says that you'd like to do some songs of your own. I said, yeah, that would be great. He says, okay, next rehearsal, you show the band a couple of your songs, and then we'll do them at the show. I thought, okay, great, So anyway, I showed the guys a couple of my songs. I had to simplify them just so it'd be really easy to learn. They have to learn them on the spot and then play them right in front of the crowd with just one rehearsal type thing. But anyway, we pulled it off, and the next show, I think it was in Kyiv, and so that went well. And then Hare Krishna goes, whoa, now I know why Krishna sent you. That was great. Teach the guys 2 more songs. And then we get to Moscow. Now in Moscow, we went to see the venue. And the venue was the biggest stadium in Moscow. This is huge. I mean, we'd been doing stadiums, okay? Sports stadiums, sports arenas. And we were getting like 10,000 people, 12,000 people, maybe even 15,000 people. So they were big shows, okay? But when we walked into this place, we're looking at this and we go, oh no, this is too big. we bit off more than we can chew here. I mean, this place is huge. You could fly an airplane through that thing. It's gigantic, believe me. Anyway, we thought, oh no, this is too much. The sound check, everything was, going wrong. The pedal didn't work, the thing didn't switch, this didn't work, that didn't work. And it was like, you're pulling your hair out. Oh no, this is terrible. All this equipment, and they had these gigantic speakers, and it was just kind of mind-boggling, okay? So, anyway, the show began. People start streaming in, and we're just thinking, where are all these people coming from? How did they know about this? Where are they coming from? And the place got fuller and fuller and fuller and fuller, until there was like 30,000 people in that place, and we couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe that many people had shown up. 20 times more than anything we'd ever done. So anyway, we just went through our typical show, but this time, Boy George was on the bill. So of course that was a major part of the draw. A lot of people came to see Boy George. But it was still a Hare Krishna show. It wasn't a Boy George show, it was a Hare Krishna show, and he was a part of that.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
The Russian devotees saw some smoke coming out of some pipe. It had a little leak, and he thought that something was on fire. So he runs over and he starts tearing apart these pipes that are, the ducts for the smoke, thinking that he was going to find the source of the fire and put it out. So he starts ripping apart all these pipes, and then of course the guy that's doing the fog machine sees him and he goes, no, and he runs over. But yeah, that show was pivotal because they distributed, I think they said 30,000 glubjamins. Some enormous amount of glubjamins were served out, and I have no idea how many books went out, but it was a major turning point. When the Iron Curtain fell, the new regime said that the most things to be feared were religion and rock music. So here comes Gauranga Bhajan Band, religion and rock music, Western music, because we also did like other styles. But anyway, I know a lot of people still remember that concert, and for me it was an ecstatic experience. I moved to Slovenia. I joined a band called Transcendence, and we had a couple of very good years in the Transcendence band, touring around Slovenia. We did smaller shows, but it was consistent. We did 2 or 3 shows a week, and that was very, very nice. And during that time, I would tour around Europe, and that's when I met my wife, Sachi Mata Devi Dasi, who is Croatian, but she was living in the Zurich temple at that time. And so I met her with her, and then a couple years later we became married. And then from there the Transcendence Band kind of split apart. I moved to Croatia. We were living in a place called Pula, and that's where my son was born, Bima. And from there I moved back to the United States. And there I'm doing my music, still playing in my band, which is now called Nam Rock. And I play at Rath Yatras, I play at Festival of Colors. Charu Prabhu has done a marvelous service of creating this Western Holi, or Festival of Colors. He kind of brainstormed this and started out in Spanish Fork with 15 people. He had a group of like 4 musicians, and then there was like 7 or 8 ISKCON devotees, and 7 or 8 BYU, Brigham Young University students there, and maybe a couple of Indian guys. And they did a holy festival. They did a festival of colors. I did something in Sao Paulo, Brazil, which was actually the biggest one. It was inspired by Charu, and the devotees had come to Utah to see, and then they brought the idea back to Sao Paulo. But that one was the biggest one. I still have no idea how they did it, but they got this big, huge spot in the biggest park in one of the biggest cities of the world, and we had a gigantic stage and huge sound system and a whole day's worth of entertainment, and there was 100,000 people attending that show. And we did, there was yoga, then there was dance, and then there was bhajan, and then there was my section, the Nam Rock section, then there was a few Karmi bands, and then at the very end we also chanted Hare Krishna again. But it was an amazing experience.
Come all you sinners and sages, well, I've got something to tell. It's been acknowledged for ages, though very few know it well. Well, it's a Maha Mantra that's gonna set you free. It's a Maha Mantra, it's gonna get you the mercy. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
So this chanting is so powerful, and it can also be seen as entertainment, as just even as joking. It doesn't matter if they chant the Maha Mantra, if they chant even one name of Krishna, then their lives are going to be changed. That's just the way it is, and this is understood by all the great authorities and the scriptures. And so we try to get people to chant Hare Krishna that would never come to a temple. And this is a life-changing experience, even though they may not notice it, or know that what's going on. So now I'm in India. I'll be doing something here at the Pandal for the Gurpurnim festival. And later we're going over to Delhi. We're going to be doing some shows over there. And one big one in Kanpur for the students. It's called the Expression Festival. And they said that they're going to have 12,000 IT students there. These are all cream of the crop kids that are, they're devotees, but they're still attracted by the Western mentality, make some money, get a job, get a house, get this, get your... So we're trying to, keep them, okay, this is Western music, but you can do it for Krishna. Okay, get a house, get a wife, get a this, get a that. But, keep Krishna in the center. Don't forget about your culture. Don't forget about your upbringing. So this is very important. These people can have very, very prestigious positions, influential positions in life. So it's good to have them solid in their Krishna consciousness so they can help spread this mission far, far and wide.
This next song is called Jeev Jago. I think they understood that. Yeah. So the idea is that we are all in a sleeping state.
तो आगे के गाने का अर्थ है कि हम सब जीवात्मा है लेकिन अभी सोए हुए हैं.
And the way to reawaken ourselves to our true spiritual identity is by chanting the names of Krishna.
और हमारे जो भी हमारा शाश्वत स्वरूप है उसमें हमें पुनर्जागृत करने के लिए क्या तरीका है? हरे कृष्णा महामंत्र का जप करना.
Hare Krishna, sing it. Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jago, wake up sleeping souls. Jeev Jago, wake up sleeping souls. You've been sleeping too long in the lap of Maya.
So anyway, that's kind of what I'm up to now. Still doing the music, still producing albums. Still doing, my movie, we didn't mention the movie. I made a movie, it's called The Magic Crystal, and we'll try to edit in a few little bits and bobs from that so you can see what I did. It was a zero budget film that I made with my friends and my family, but I felt that someone needed to do it.
One fine day, we'll be back home. Till that day, we carry on. Keep our faith where it belongs. Faith in you will make us strong. And all our pain and all our fears we've undergone throughout the years will disappear like bad dreams do. 'Cause one fine day we'll be with you. One fine day we'll be flying high past all the stars that are in the sky, and face to face finally we'll meet you, the Lord Supreme, falling at your feet, the supreme abode is where we'll be. Lives in harmony, and the only thing we all want to do is to serve your feet. We give ourselves to you. One fine day we'll be back home. Till that day carry on. we've undergone throughout the years will disarm